This is Ralph Sass, and this is the quiz for Chapter 7 in Managerial Accounting. And I'm going to be going over the questions with numbers on them. And this first one is question number 1. So this is question number 1. And question asks for how much would the company have to charge for the Ertz wedding cake just to break even. So all we're looking here to do is cover the costs, and we're looking for the Ertz wedding, and the numbers are both here and up here. So let's go ahead and take a look. Number of reception guests is 68, so we've got to take 68, which is the number of guests, and each guest gets a size-related activity pool is 96 cents per guest. So I'm going to take that 68, multiply it times 96 cents. Then we have three tiers to this particular cake. So we've got 3 tiers, and the activity rate for the complexity is $28.92 per tier. So I've got to take $28.92 per tier, multiply that by 3 tiers. So that's part of my cost of this product. Now I need a cost for the purchase decorations, and the purchase decorations were $15.45. So I've got to do $15.45, and keep in mind that's all inclusive. So that, I mean, if you want, you can think about it as times 1, but that's $15.45 times 1. And then order-related activities are $78.19 per order. Each wedding cake involves 1 order, so I've got 1 order at $78.19. So I multiply each of those 4 items, really 2, and then add the $15.45 and the $78.19 per order, and we get the cost for this cake is $245.68. The second question is question number 2, and this one I did in class, so I'll go ahead and do this one as well. We've got a couple of different activity pools here, and we're using activity-based costing, and we're looking at the average cost of the product, 37W. So what I need to do first is take the 942,000 and divide it by, I'm going to take each of those and divide it by the 66,000, and when I divide it by 66,000 for the assembly, I get $14.28. And when I do the same thing for processing orders, the $85,000 divided by the 1,800 orders, I get $47.25. And when I take 126 and divide it by 1820, I get $69.70. So those are my total. Those are my costs. Keep in mind, the only thing I allocate is overhead. So the direct materials is 30, and I'm looking for the cost per unit. So my cost per unit is $35.72 for direct materials. My direct labor is $29.46. And now my product, my Q37W, requires 690 machine hours. So I've got to take that 1428 times 690. It requires 40 orders, so I've got to make that processing orders, the 4725 times 40. And then I have to take the 6970 times the number of inspection hours, which is 10. Okay. So when I add up all of those items, that's $12,440, and I believe 20 cents. It's 20. Okay. Now, I produced a total of 430 units. My total overhead is $12,440.20. I produced 430 units, so I have to divide that number by 430. So when I divide it by that 12,440 divided by 430, I get $28.93, and that is my per unit manufacturing overhead, And so when I will add those three numbers together, I will get $94.11. And once again, this was question number 2. Moving on to question number 3. This is question number 3. And we want to overhead assigned for product Q7. So we've got to find the total overhead that's involved for Q7. Processing was $4,600. I'm going to divide that by 10 grand. Where did I get the 10 grand? I'm getting that 10 grand from the total processing down there. I'm going to divide the supervising by the 1,000 by the 1,000. So I'm going to divide that 16.5 divided by 1,000. And when I do that, I will get 46 cents for processing. 46 cents for processing, and $16.50 for supervising. So those are the only two overhead. I can't assign the other, so all I can do is assign the overhead. So it asks what overhead is going to be assigned for Q7. Well, Q7 takes 48. Where is my machine hours? There it is. 4,700 hours of machine hours. So I'm going to take that 46 cents times 4,700. Okay. And then I am going to take that 1650 times how many batches of supervising, which is 100, and multiply that times 100. Make both those calculations, add them up. And when I do that, I will get $3,812. So my answer is B, 3,812. Moving on to question number 4. This is question number 4. Whoops. This is question number 4, and this is on Fogel. Once again, the other activity pools are down there. What would be the total overhead cost per delivery? So I'm looking for the overhead cost per delivery. Okay. Well, what I need to do is take the wages and salaries, and delivery is 35% of that, so I've got to multiply that times 0.35. Keep in mind, one of the items I'm doing here is I'm taking that big table and simplifying it as much as possible. My other expenses are 20, so I'm going to take and multiply that 40 grand by 0.20. So that's going to give me 28,000 when I take 80,000 times 0.35, and when I take 40,000 times 0.2, I'm going to get 8,000. So my total there is $36,000. Okay. Now I've got to allocate it by how many deliveries I had. Okay. And I had 7,000 deliveries, so I'm going to divide it by 7,000, and my cost per delivery is 36,000 divided by 7, which is $5.14. Answer is B. Continuing on to my next is the Kasloff wedding. This is very similar to the other wedding. And notice in this case I'm figuring out how much profit I'm going to make. So to figure out how much profit I'm going to make, I'm going to start with the amount I'm going to charge. In this case I'm going to charge $613.98. And now I'm going to go ahead and subtract my costs. So the first thing here is I'm doing the Mangulis wedding. So I've got 183 reception guests. So I'm going to subtract 183 guests. Each of the guests is $1.16. So I'm going to multiply that times 1.16. That's going to give me the cost per guest. This wedding has 5 tiers, and each tier is $33.47. So I've got 5 tiers at $33.47. Okay. Cost of the purchased cake decorations were $61.84. Looked at the wrong wedding here. So I've got to subtract the $61.84 for my cost of my purchased items, and then my activity per order, and keep in mind this takes one order, is $65.95. So I subtract those two, and then I subtract my cost here, which is $212.28, and 167.35. And when I subtract all those costs, I get that my margin on this particular order is $106.56. And keep in mind, that is the amount of money then that I have that I can cover all my other expenses. And the last one on this particular video will be number 6. Okay, this is question number 6, and I'm looking for the activity rate. So what I need to do is I need to take my 60,000, which is my costs up here, and I need to divide it, I need to multiply it by how much depreciation I am going to take. Keep in mind, I'm looking for machining, which is 0.6, so I've got to multiply it times 0.6, and that will give me where am I? Let's see. My 60,000 times my 0.6 is 36,000. And then I need to take that 7,000, multiply it times my 0.3. That'll give me 2,100. So the total cost is $38,100. And now I need to allocate that over 10,000 machining hours. Okay? So I take that and divide it by 10,000. And I get $3.81. And I am going to stop this video here, and I will pick it up with the last 7 questions on the next video.